Welcome back to Crayon Box Weekly. I am Carl, your host, and I'm joined today by
Vanessa.
my best friend in the entire whole wide world.
Whoop, whoop.
Once again, we're remote. It seems like this is just how we're going to have to do things. Vanessa, it's like we moved closer together, and now we spend even less time together.
I know. You wanna know what it is? It's because it's the holidays, so I was out Christmas shopping, so
Mm, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I still haven't done that this year.
Oh, I did. But I will tell you, those stores, no. I'm gonna stick to, like, during the day, making James because at after 5, they're insane.
So, what I want to do today, of course, we're going to do our typical talking about the stories and the headlines. But what I want to do real quick is talk about something that happened to me over the past couple of days. We talked in our last episode about how I had joined a conservative group and was blatantly anti-Trump. Um, and I was told by these folks that I was not conservative, that because I was not supportive of Donald Trump, that I wasn't a Republican, and because of the way that I feel about MAGA, it makes me un-American, and it was just constant hostility in that group, um, and it gave me a reason to kind of do a little bit of a pause and kind of recheck myself, right? Um, so take a couple minutes and I'll talk about that. And that's the end result being that I am now officially a registered member of the Democratic Party of North Carolina. Um, and I did that because I did a little bit of self reflection and I put together a little survey based off of the Republican Party platform positions. And what I did is I used that to identify how far off I am and when that divergence started to happen, right? And mind you, I think I've said it to you, Vanessa, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast, but there was a time where I would have been full MAGA. When I was in my early 20s, I was super conservative. I was in the closet, and I felt this need to be part of the conservative mantra. Um, I mean, even in high school, I was a Bible thumper, and I would tell people if they didn't believe in Jesus and repent of their sins, they were going to hell. Like I would do this during lunch.
Wait,
Um,
I can't stop. Okay, I woulda hated you. I'm so glad that that's not you, wow. Mm. Not that I would
yeah,
hate you, but it's just kinda like, I would've been like, he's not gonna be my best friend."
right. I mean, I force my religion onto others.
Right.
And the unfortunate thing is that it's happening today. And I find it odd because it's almost like I'm living in reverse, where I'm doing the thing that is cool well before it becomes cool. And then I move on from it because it's no longer cool when it becomes cool. Um, I hope that made sense.
So you're just basically telling me that you're never gonna be cool. That's what I got from this whole conversation.
I'm never going to be cool when it's cool.
Nice, gotcha. So hypothetically, you're never gonna be cool. I got it. Got it.
Right. Okay. I'll give it to you. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so what I did over the weekend is after I did that reflection, I kind of looked at myself. It became apparent to me that my core values, my core, the things that I believe in the most,
Align with
do
something.
not align with the current Republican Party platform.
Yeah, and I feel like you can switch, and everybody, and I think in life, like, we all switch, at some point. There was a comic that I would listen to, and he was talking about, he's like, I'm a Democrat, been a Democrat. He's like, but I can see, he's like, I'm getting older with age. He's like, and I feel those Republican genes coming in. And like, he's so funny, like, hilarious. But I was like, I get it, you know, because there's gonna be times in your life that you align with something this way, and other times you may align here. Um, so I think in life, like, you should be able to change whatever you want and do whatever you want.
Well, I registered as a Democrat. So I'm officially a soon to be card carrying member of the North Carolina Democratic Party.
Stop, there's a
And
card?
I mean, you get your registration, your proof of registration
Yeah.
when you
Y
register to vote.
hmm, okay.
I was against changing parties. Um,
Why were you so against, like, or yeah, basically, why were you against changing?
um, two, three things. There's the fact that I've been a registered Republican since I could register.
Mhm,
Um, and my dad was a registered Republican. Um, my grandfather was actually a Democrat, ironically, but he held conservative views and he always voted Republican as a Democrat.
mhm.
Um, so there was that link, right? And then there was the fact that I don't necessarily align with all of the views of the Democratic Party.
So it was like, I can't so what ultimately made you switch?
Right. So that I took that I did I did that questionnaire, right? And I'll talk more about it, but I turned that into a survey that we have up on our website now, and I'll talk more about that later towards the end of the episode. But I took that survey and I realized that my morals and values aligned less with the Republican Party than they aligned with the Democrat Party.
Okay. So that makes sense because I feel like, you know, especially when we're 18 and, most people register to vote when they're 18, I mean, I feel like they just pick something, you know, like, they're just like, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, boom, there you go." So,
Mhm.
is the process to for anybody out there that's interested in, you know, changing their, party that they've been with, you know, since they were 18, how is the process hard to basically re-register as a from a Republican to a Democrat or a Democrat to a Republican?
My experience was painless. It was actually really, really easy. I was able to go to um, the NCDMV portal,
Mhm.
and I was able to just go through the process. I put in my information, and they re-registered me as a Democrat. It was really simple, just a couple clicks of the mouse.
Gotcha. Yeah, like, you know, I'm a registered Republican. Um, I voted for Trump, so I'll just put that out there. So Carl knows we've had talks about it, and everything. So I don't always like, I mean, I don't I don't vote party line. I kinda just go off of, like, education, what fits for me. And I'll be honest with you, one of the more things is, you know, like when I was in the military, you know, like when a Democrat was in office, we didn't get pay raises. But when a Republican was in, we would get pay raises in the military. And to me, I mean, you don't make shit in the military. They don't make anything. And, you know, to me, it's like, that's important to me is that they get pay raises. So that's why I chose to go Republican. Um,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm not saying, but by no means, I don't think either party does things 100% to what I like. I feel like they're flawed. Both systems, both parties are flawed in everything, and they just seem to go against each other rather than work with each other. And to me, it's very, very sad. So, you know, I I don't know how to fix the system or how they can fix the system, but it's broken and it's been broken for a while. And unfortunately, it seems like we just keep going back and forth between, oh, well, we don't like, that the Democrats did this, so now we have a Republican in, let's change it. And then, and then the Democrat gets in and they're like, well, we didn't like that they did this, let's change it back. And then, oh, let's change it back. And it's back and forth. It's like we're not growing. We're not growing if we keep changing the same things that somebody else had just put in place because you didn't like it. Maybe come up with a plan to make it better instead of just, hey, let's change it and get rid of it altogether, instead of let's work to make it, or admit that what they're doing here makes sense. It's got a great plan. However, I think it should change it to this, or like add this part into it so that it flows better.
So here's the thing about the flip flop, right? So the back and forth, the constant. The reason that this keeps happening is because our Congress has given up its power to the executive branch. Um, and in the executive branch, the president has the authority to write edicts, what we call executive orders.
Mhm.
Um, and those executive orders have been allowed to develop into holding the same amount of authority as a law. Um, and Congress has allowed this to happen over the last 3 or 4 decades, um, especially in the early 2000s and then the 2010s. And the reason for that is because of this polarization that we seem to have. And so the reason we do that back and forth is because of that ceding of power. Now, had Congress held onto its power and managed to stop the president from doing things, we would have a very different situation today than we do. And we would be a far stronger, far more reliable ally to our allies than we are today.
Gotcha. But
So I think we need to get back to that.
yeah, we need to, something has to change.
Let's go ahead and move on to current events.
Yes. Did you want to go first since I went first last time?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go first. And I want to start out with this picture from the Department of Homeland Security that they posted up on their website, and it is a very Christmassy, very with the times post to include the "You're going ho ho home." Um, I think this is like a very callous freaking image. I think it's a very callous social media post, and I think
It's just,
it's propaganda.
it's so disrespectful. Like, in my mind, it's like, it's not funny. Like, they're trying to be funny, I guess, and think that, oh, hey, this is a pun and it's funny. To me, it's just, it's it's racism at its finest.
Right. I mean, look at it this way. Like they are celebrating the fact that they're sending or they're breaking families apart,
Yeah.
or they're sending people who've lived here for 17, 18, 19, 20 years back to a country that they know nothing about.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting that you bring this up because my my story was actually because I was looking into deportation and different things because ICE is now, they're in Chicago, they're here in Charlotte. They're moving, they're closer now to the East Coast. Um and I saw that the Supreme Court had actually passed that they can stop people that look like um Mexicans and Hispanics, Latinos, based on the color of their skin. Like, what? Like, that's
Yep.
against everything. Like, everything that we're taught. And then now it's like, oh, well, the government's doing it. I mean, where's that line going to stop? Because now that you, as the Supreme Court, have passed that they can stop anybody based on skin color, where's it stop? Because now you have just pushed us back to basically saying that it's okay to racially profile individuals.
Hmm.
That's not okay. That's completely wrong. And there are going to be, I mean, I'm Native American. I don't look Native American, but majority of me is Native American and Eastern European. But European people come here too, and they're illegal, but we're not going to stop somebody that looks like me. Because why? Because my skin tone. That's shitty. That's so shitty, and we are just going back into this whole, like, we're racially profiling people, and the Supreme Court said it's okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with what we have now sitting in the Supreme Court is they're not. That decision was made as an emergency docket, so they didn't really justify their reasoning for why they said that it was okay, and it wasn't the full court that approved it. It was the the majority conservative justices who allowed for it to be approved. But again, that was part of the shadow emergency docket thing that isn't part of their normal day-to-day routine. Um, in fact, they're going to be hearing this week. They're going to be hearing arguments for um, whether or not we should eliminate birthright citizenship.
Well, if that's the case, then we're all fucking illegal.
Right.
Well, at that point, who would be considered legal? Would it? I mean, and that if that's the case, wouldn't Trump's wife be considered an illegal?
Well, it wouldn't be that she'd be considered illegal. It would be that, I mean, she's an immigrant here. She's not a U.S. Well, I mean, she was not a U.S. citizen when that whole process started, but she came here and went through the process and became a U.S. citizen. But how do I want to put this? The way that it'll work is that it will be blood based, right? So
Okay, so let's put this on, like, you're in college, right? And you're a female. Nope, let's see,
mhm,
male. Nope, I don't know. Anyway, male or female, you go overseas because you want to go backpacking through Europe. Well, what do college students do? They like to procreate.
mhm,
So they go and they get somebody pregnant over in, you know, in France, or, they get an American pregnant when they were overseas, and then they come back here. Um, are you saying that that's because, so the female that's pregnant, say she gets pregnant in, she's an American-born citizen. She goes to France, gets pregnant, comes back here, has the baby. The baby can be considered a U.S. citizen because the mother's a citizen and she was born here.
mhm.
Okay. So what happens with the male if he goes over there and gets a girl in France pregnant? He comes back here. She delivers in France, but he wants to bring his you know child and his baby mama back to the U.S. so that they can become a family. Would the baby then be considered a U.S. citizen because he's a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, so I don't know. That would depend on what the policy says, right? So like it would depend on how the the policy would be written.
Okay.
But as it stands, I would say yes. That kid is now a citizen of the United States of America.
Okay.
Um, so it's an interesting thing that they're working on. But I figured I'd bring that up since you brought up the U.S. citizen getting rounded up by,
They're-
or did you say that?
no, well, about the color of their skin.
Oh yeah, by the color of their skin.
Yeah,
Um,
that's so racial profiling, and that's, oh my gosh, like, way to just kick us back so many, like, decades. Like, what is wrong
mhm,
with you? Like,
yep,
like,
yep,
I really felt like, up until I read that, I felt like, okay, America has made so many strives to not racially profile, to, work on these things and work on people's bigotry. And now you're telling me that the Supreme Court said, "Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead and racially profile them by the color of their skin." What the No. Not okay. Not okay. Not okay. And
So part of me wants to look at you and say, you voted for this. Um,
I know you always do every time I say something shitty. Okay. You and I have both said this. I believe there should be ways that legal citizenship should happen. I've always said that.
Mhm.
Do I believe that they had talking about it was they had a it sounded great. It sounded, "Okay, let's do this." Their execution is absolutely shit. Like, this execution of getting people out of here has been absolute shit. And
It's on par with Operation Wetback.
what's Operation what? What did you
Yeah, so there was literally a government operation called Operation Wetback. I think last year I put out a little short that talks about Operation Wetback. But it essentially, the way that it worked is people were rounded up just like they are today, based off the color of their skin, just like today. And they were put on trains back then, and they were sent back across the border. Today, we put them on planes and we send them across the border to prisons like MCOT. Um, and it's you can almost see the parallels between the two. Only difference is this one is a mass deportation on the scale that is much worse than Operation Wetback was. Um,
First off, that is a racial slur. Like, very offensive racial slur. Why would we
no,
name
they
some
didn't care about that back then.
When was it? What year was this?
40s and 50s.
Oh, yeah, they didn't care back then.
They did not.
That's
They did
terrible.
not. They use a lot of racial epithets back then.
That's just
Um,
sad.
yeah. So I mean, it's one of those crazy things. Now, talking about North Carolina, there was an 18-year-old who, I mean, to me, the kid looks white, right? But apparently he's got a little brown in him, and he was 18. He is 18 years old. He was in a work truck. He had pulled over for the night to sleep in his truck, and he woke up surrounded by ICE agents,
Jesus Christ.
and they actually arrested him and they took him in. Luckily, he was able to prove that he's a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, like, that's you first off, so, like, James, like, my boyfriend, when I met him, I thought he was Hispanic. I really did. I thought he was a mix. I really did. He's not. He's Black Irish. But, his daughter is, she's mixed, and she has a strong Latino look. So, it worries me because she's a US citizen. She don't even speak Spanish, like, never has. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, if somebody stops her, like, I'm sorry, like, I wanna fight them. Like, go do something else with your time because all you're doing is literally racially profiling people and making people hate another race. Like, our US government is promoting us to hate, and
Yes.
that's awful. That's completely
Yes.
awful just because of the literally the color of their skin. Oh, they're Hispanic. So now they're dealing with a lot of hate and everything. And it's like, why are we promoting hate? Why are we promoting re- why do we promote things that are just so was not the foundation of why we came to America. Like, we didn't come to America so that we could profile people and, say, "Oh, this person's better." I mean, at that point, you're not any you're not any better than Hitler. Like, that's fucked up. What you're doing is completely fucked up, and they really need to reevaluate their things. The posts that they put, I can't believe the Department of Homeland Security would even put that. Like, you could have just put, like, a Christmas tree or something, but, like, it's just hateful. It's hateful, and it's just so hateful. Like, that's not what America was ever founded on, was hate. That wasn't.
I really enjoy the fact that you said you're just like Hitler. When I, it, chef's kiss. Like I mean that if you can see those parallels, that chef's kiss, right? Because we have been talking about this and we have been comparing this administration to them for over a year now. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's tired. You can't compare them. They're not putting people in ovens. No, they're not putting people in ovens yet.
No, they're
Um,
sending them to countries that they've never lived in. They don't have family there. All their
mhm,
family's here, and you're literally just sending them. What are they going to do there? Because there's a difference between when if there is a US citizen that is found in another country, they're sent back to the US, right? Um,
mhm.
and the US takes care of them. We're sending these people to countries that they don't take care of their people. Just like, what are we going to do with all the refugees that came in? Are we just going to deport them back? Because if that's the case, what you're just sending them back to get killed. Like, that's what you have signed up for is, okay, we're not gonna put them literally, we're not gonna put them in a gas chamber, but we're gonna send them back from where they came from, and because they sought they sought refuge here in the US, when they go back, they're gonna be killed. Like, does that not process in their brain? Like, you're putting people to their death that came here because they were scared of their country. Like, wake up. Like, they really
We don't have empathy. Our current administration lacks empathy. And that's just the long and short of it. I mean, we don't, the people who are in power do not have the care to actually do the right thing.
which to me is bizarre because our president's wife, she's not from this country. Like,
Nor is our vice president's wife.
right. And so what do you like you would think that they would have empathy and understanding like, okay, they had better opportunities here to live the American dream. What's the American dream now? Nothing. The American dream is okay, so you come here, you might work for a little bit, but we're going to ship you back. Don't worry about it. Like there's no American dream here anymore. Like that's awful. Like
It's almost brilliant on the part of the Trump administration. And I say almost brilliant because it serves as a deterrent because no one's going to want to come here anymore. No
right,
one's going to want to migrate to the United States because they don't know if they'll be safe here.
right.
I mean, Donald Trump is already talking about revoking citizenship and revoking permanent legal residence from people who are here, who came here from Afghanistan, right? All because the one dude who was reportedly suffering from mental health issues, shot and killed one National Guardswoman and injured another National Guardsman. Um, it was a terrible situation. And the dude came from Afghanistan. I was part of Operations Allied Welcome. It was a terrible, terrible process. I mean, it just, I hated being part of Allies Welcome because of the way that we were going through the process and screening these individuals. And also because of the way that we were treating these people by putting them in makeshift camps and having the military rove through these camps to keep the peace.
Isn't that what Hitler
Um,
did? God, he puts them in concentration camps. Like what?
but that was under Biden, right? And that was part of Operation Allies Welcome. And the way that it worked, and this is what we were told, is that these folks, they didn't just come to the United States without vetting. They went to another nation, they were vetted there, and then they were transported here in order to get placement out in the civilian sector. I just there were things that I couldn't align with, I couldn't jive with. It rubbed me so wrong, the wrong way.
Yeah.
But this guy that did that shot the National Guardsman, um, his asylum was granted by the Trump administration. We can argue all day long about, oh well, he came in under Biden, blah 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 blah. If the Trump administration was really concerned, right, and if the Trump administration truly wanted to make sure that they were doing their due diligence, those applications that were leftovers from the Biden administration would not have gotten the rubber stamp.
Yeah.
because they would have evaluated them a little bit more. So I hold both Biden and Trump to blame for what happened in DC.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump more so because of the fact that those troops really didn't need to be in DC. But it is what it is now.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just sad. That's just super
yeah,
sad. And it's I feel so horrible for, you know, brown skins. Now is what it is, and and like I hate to say it like that because it's just like what just because your skin tone's different doesn't mean that you should be profiled at all. Like that's just not okay. Because
not at all.
it's just, but you know what? The Supreme Court says they can do it. So, like I feel like that just opened a loophole for the police officers and being like, "Oh, well, you stopped this African American. Why did you stop him?" "Oh, it's because of his skin color." "Oh, but you know what? The Supreme Court said it was okay." It's a loophole.
Hmm.
It's a fucking loophole that people are going to literally like,
Exploit.
yes, absolutely. Like that's dumbasses. Like that's all I can
Hmm.
say. Like don't set us back, 60 plus years and make it to where where we've been moving forward to get better and be better individuals. And now you as the Supreme Court, you've just negated all of that. And now you've created mayhem where like anybody can just get away with anything.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's
Um,
that's super.
and I mean, that's kind of the way it rolls. Um, that's pretty much all we have for this week, folks. We do apologize for missing last week. It was Thanksgiving and there was a lot going on. But we'll get back into the regular weekly posts. Um, with that being said, I did last week complete my interview with Lethal Venom, and that episode on their show should be up probably mid to late January. I'll keep you guys updated this week. I've got um, an interview on Book 101 review, another one with the listening table, and another one this week with Shades of Jay. So those three will be this week. I'll be talking outside of this. I've got a busy week, Vanessa, so bear with me when I'm texting you.
No problem.
And then in January, I've got another one with Helping the Brave. And then also, Vanessa, this week will be I will be recording an interview with the first guest of next season, a man by the name of Dr. Doug Cardell. Um,
Nice.
he's an economist, he's got a lot of chops, and I'm going to talk to him about where he thinks or what he thinks about socialism and how he feels that socialism is unsustainable. So it'll be a good and interesting talk with him, especially being that he's much smarter than me.
Here's the
So
doctor.
I expect that I'm going to be completely walloped by him with my questions, but I'm excited to talk to him.
That's awesome. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah. Um, and then, folks, I mentioned it earlier at the beginning with that survey that I made for myself. I actually turned it into a no joke survey that can be found on our website. If you just go to cramboxpolitics.com, scroll down, you'll see 4 different cards that say, it says, "What are you here to do?" Read, listen, watch, and then there's another card there that says take the survey. Please take the survey. I'll put the link again also down here in the comments section or the description section. But please take that survey because it's going to help us to understand and develop a solid look at what America is from the political spectrum. And, I would wager that Americans are not as polarized as the media as they want us to believe that we are.
Mhm.
So the more people we get to fill that survey out, the better. Until next week, stay informed, stay engaged, and always color outside the lines.